What I'm about to do, I don't recommend to do, but desperate times, desperate measures. Well, why exactly am I picking up this fruit still attached to the vine? Because on Thursday I was cleaning away, pushed up sand all around this fruit, and I found this was hidden by the sand, and I scraped on it a little bit, treated it with xylitol, but it went up underneath where I couldn't see, and I wasn't exactly sure how far. Thought about it for 2 days. Lined up some help. I knew I had to pick up this fruit still attached to the vine so I get access to this spot. Picked it up, set it back down on some foam boards stacked up 4 high, I think is what we ended up doing, which created some problems all of its own. And I'll go out here and take a look at what I found. It does in fact go further than what I could see as the fruit sat on the ground on the sand. And there's only one thing to do now is try and fix it. So I've been looking for this everywhere for a month. And yesterday I got my scale out to try and weigh this girl while we had it lifted up. And I found it stored away with my scale. I don't know why I would have stored this with my scale. This is a pumpkin carving kit, and I use it for an emergency medical kit for my pumpkin. So there's pretty much only two things that I use in here. That's this one right here. I actually love this thing. This is blunt, it's not sharp, and you can put it along the surface and just pull away like that. Pulls away very small amounts, and you control the pressure with your hand for how deep you get inside of the sore spots on these pumpkins and vines and scrape away. And then this is the other tool that I use the most. Now this is sharp on this edge. You don't use it like this. You can actually dig as deep as you wanted to into the fruit with this, but I use this blunt edge on this side and go like this with it, and that's really effective in pulling away rot spots and stuff like that. So these are pretty much the only two things that I use in this. I do have a bit of a stem blowout on this 1965 again due to the heavy amounts of rain we got the last 2 days. I will probably use this and pull away in there and give it some xylitol treatment and fans and such. Alright, so picked her up, set her down on 4 pieces of foam board, and that's so that I could get underneath of here and see exactly what I got. Sun's kind of shadowing everything. I'd already scraped away a very little bit here, pretty much just skin deep, and treated with xylitol. But this is the spot right here that I'm mostly concerned about. It is wet. It did have a glob of sap on it this morning, and then some soft brown back in here. I'm going to scrape away on this and give a xylitol treatment. I'm afraid I'm going to find that this might potentially be a pinhole all the way through. And I don't really know how this happened. It was hidden from me. Sand was piled up in this area as it sat flat down here. And like I said, I brushed away the sand and found it. And that's a good learning lesson for next year. I'll either do one of two things. Number one, not grow on sand, or number two, get the sand out of the way much earlier in the season. You can see I just now pressed up against that and shot a little bit of sap out of it. So we'll see what happens. Alright, there's what I've taken off of it. And I used my favorite tool. This is the only thing I used on it. I did use this end around the edges just a tiny bit. Let me show you what we got. Alright, so this is the area that I already treated, and it is trying to dry up. I took it down to what is mostly clean flesh all the way through here, and took some of the already healed portion off. Treat this with Xeritol, keep it dry, put a fan on it. I don't know. I mean, the jury's out on it. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know what the outcome of this is going to be. Alright, she slipped in the rope yesterday. I got a few of these little tiny scratches. I'll treat them. I'm probably going to do alcohol on these, and of course fans. I'm not too awful concerned about these. I think these will be just fine. It'll probably heal itself up without me doing much. You know, it's a kind of equivalent to the stress marks and cracks that she's gotten over the last couple of weeks. So I'll treat them with a little bit of alcohol and keep a close eye on them, and of course have fans on them. One of my biggest concerns is that when it slipped, it was sitting on the ground on this end over here, so it didn't, you know, hit the ground or anything, but it was a pretty good jolt. So I'm a little bit concerned about the integrity of the inside of this girl now, but we will see. Alright, there's the end result. Treated with Xeritol. I kind of left this area right here alone. It was hardening up and scabbing up. I did take a little bit of the previous healing in here out. Just I wanted to see if it was healing. Get my light up in here again. So not a very good view of it. It's really hard with the sunshine in my eyes and underneath in the shadows. But treated with Xeritol, and I'm gonna put a fan on it and keep checking it out about every 4 hours throughout the day, and see how it's doing. Alright, all cleaned up, working on healing now. Brand new setup for this. I turned the house, the shelter widthwise so that I can keep my blowers out of the weather. Had to add this on the end because my fan down here is sticking out in the weather. I'm going to have to rethink this. We're not expecting any rain anytime soon. I think we got hammered enough the last couple of days, but after looking at it, this water is going to go on here and down this way, so I'll rethink that. I got lots of fans and blowers blowing everywhere. There's a shot of my ugly stem. I redirected all that as well. This is blowing on the sore spot down there. Got my camera down there to keep a close eye on it. One thing I did with my stem can fan, I put it down the bottom. I had it up in here, and one thing I found is that it's holding a lot of heat up in here, and I was pretty much sucking hot air through it and blowing out there. So I put it down here on the bottom this time to get the air a little bit cooler. There's my stack of foam board. 4 high right here and 3 high over there. Hopefully gravity is not going to work against me too much in this scenario, and I mean, we'll see what we get. Alright, I sure hope this does the trick. This
fruit is slated to go to the Virginia State Fair on September 28th. That's about 26 days from now. 25 days I'll be harvesting. I need this spot to heal up and get legal. Right now I don't think there's any question about being legal, but I do need it to heal in order to be legal. I think the size and the depth is okay. I'm going to go inside and review the rule book to make sure. If it doesn't heal up, I'm going to be left with a difficult decision next week. I want to take something to the Virginia State Fair. This is the 1707 Casper's fruit over here. It's not going to stay on the vine another 25 days. I was worried about keeping it on the vine 10 days to get it to Wild and Wonderful in Craigsville, West Virginia. So I'm going to have to watch things really close and see how things go. I will say this is extremely disappointing and heartbreaking. My best grow ever right here in this fruit, and turned horribly wrong and bad in the blink of an eye. So I know that's how the game goes, but I'm going to keep playing it. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. I hope I didn't bore you too much in all my drama here. Stick around with us and see what we're able to do with this fruit. I made a drastic move under dire conditions to try and get this fruit to scale, and hopefully it pays off. We'll see you next time.